Alright guys, welcome back to another trucking video. Today we're doing something a little different.
If you do not like and subscribe immediately, I will ban all cab overs from ever entering your area ever again.
We're playing Roblox today, and we are attempting to take a 1978 Kenworths W900A with two trailers, which is doubles, and I guess it'd be a 90 Ford LTL 9000 with the same doubles up the treacherous mountain to St. Louis. So, pray for us. We just got done eating and we ran a bus off the road, as you can see. So let's get the trip started. And there goes another load of doubles. So let's go.
Yes.
Cut your lights off, by the way.
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna die.
I know.
We're so dead.
Dude, this Detroit's puffing and puffing.
There's a semi smoking like a steam machine, running hot up about hauling double trailers, pumping and puffing. Brothers, that ain't nothing. See a gig on lane, there's a mad redhead drinking double shot black. Lipstick on the edge of a Starbucks cup.
Clothes and shoes in the bed of that truck. Ain't a set of tail lights, she ain't passed. Finger out the window, barefoot on the gas. She's hauling ass. Ain't nothing says ain't coming back like that. Feels like I'm sitting still, just a spinning my wheels, stuck in a traffic jam behind a red Trans Am. Dude's only doing 80, chasing after my baby. There goes a Lincoln, a beer train, hopper load of sweet grain, Cadillac, Hugos, guitars, pantyhose. God knows she's driving me crazy. I want a 911, a highway patrol. Report a girl out of missing, running out of control. Tell them to turn her around, lay them spike strips down. See the get gone lane, there's a mad redhead drinking double shot black. Lipstick on the edge of a Starbucks cup. Clothes and shoes in the bed of my truck. Ain't a set of tail lights, she ain't passed. Finger out the window, barefoot on the gas. She's hauling ass. Ain't nothing says ain't coming back like that.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this doing? Of course he's driving a Volvo, bro.
That's insane. That's an epic
Okay, what is
7.
this?
Jesus Christ. That's insane.
I think I see blue lights coming up from behind. If they pull me over on the shoulder, it's over. She'll be way too far down them yellow lines. In the get gone lane. Yeah, in the get gone lane. Drinking double shot black, lipstick on the edge of that Starbucks cup. Clothes and shoes in the bed of my truck. Ain't a set of tail lights, she ain't passed. Finger out the window, barefoot on the gas. She's hauling ass, I mean hauling ass. Ain't nothing says ain't coming back like that.
We got some more autistic children up ahead here.
Personally,
I just ran over a child.
oh, nice. Personally, I would. Jesus Christ. Personally, I would like to see how we would customize a W900A. Like in real life. Jesus Christ, the Pro Star. Jesus Christ, he's gonna fall off.
Okay, what?
I said I would. Personally, I would like to see you customize a W9A in either Roblox.
With the A model, but it actually wasn't called the W900.
Damn it!
It was called the W923 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And,
What the? I got stuck at the gate and then it closed on me again. So now I have to click it again. Open up. Alright.
There's a guy in front of me pulling doubles. I'm pulling doubles. You're pulling doubles. He can't even get around the corner. And he's in a little Peterbilt with a double eagle bomb. And he's falling off the mountain. He is falling. I'm sending you a picture of this.
Well, gang, I'm on my way. I'm driving as a. Oh, Jesus. I see your trailer. What
Well, he just deleted his truck. I don't really know what he's expecting to do.
Oh, wait, that's the guy that flew past us in the intro.
Let's get the trip started.
And also to Kenworth.
Oh, was it Kenworth?
Yeah, it was a W900L. He flew past us whenever we were making the intro. And, oh, my Ford just finally decided to grab a gear and go. We're all gonna die. Just like that one guy did. Does this trailer have collisions? Is that why I'm sliding off right now? Hold on. Get into gear!
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna go back here.
I made it.
Okay. That's a lot of bleeping you're gonna have to do. Both had the single bump and double bump options. Yeah, I think they both had cab options too. Which the bumper behind cab length for those, I think, were only like 55 inches. Nice. They are very, very narrow. But 85 Kenworth made the K1D. To begin with, I think the only motors they put in those trucks at the time was Captain Cummins. And then later on, I think it was in 89 or 90, they added Detroit onto their line of motors. So they started putting 60 series in the trucks. And they ran the production of the K100E until I think it was 02, when they didn't need a length, when the length law was non-existent. Because, I mean, it's not like the length law, it's not like people weren't still running cabovers like in California on the West Coast and stuff, but they just weren't as popular because they weren't needed. But, I did look into it. Do you actually want me to explain Kenworth's history?
I mean, I would recommend we find another load and then we do that.
Well, you can do that while I explain. You might actually want to restart your recording so I can explain Kenworth's entire production line. Okay, tell me when you're ready.
I've been recording for 37 seconds.
Okay, so from 1912 to 1923, Berliner Motor Company was the original Kenworth. So, not original Kenworth, it was the base for Kenworth. So they started in Portland, Oregon, and it was a car truck dealership owned by two brothers, and they were George T. Gerlinger and Louis Gerlinger Jr. I hope I'm saying it. But in 1914, they expanded into actually making vehicles and marketing a truck called the Gersix. It was actually I guess it might have been one of the first commercial trucks at the time, but it's the name, the 6 in the name came from the inline, so the non-6-cylinder motor I had. And it was one of the first trucks at the time to come with that motor. And it was framed in like structural steel, like the frame. I guess the cab was too on that. And it was intended for commercial use, obviously. And when it was completed, it was a side project. And it was heavily demanded by logging companies in the Northwest. And in 1916, they relocated to Tacoma, Washington, and they leased a building from a businessman in Seattle, Washington, named Edgar K. Worthington. Keep that in mind. Keep that name in mind. So in 1917, Gerlinger Motors filed for bankruptcy, put up for sale, and E.K. Worthington acquired the company business, and his partner was Captain Frederick Kent. Keep that name in mind also. To emphasize its connection to truck manufacturing, the company was renamed Gersix Motor Company in 1990. Captain Kent retired, with his son Harry Kent replacing him as partner in the company. In 1922, Gersix produced 53 trucks in its final year, located its factory on Fairview Avenue at Valley Street. Following continued strong demand of the Model Line, the company found itself with $60,000 to reincorporate and relocate its headquarters. So from 1923 to 1930, this is what happened through those years. In January of 23, Gersix Motor Company was reincorporated as the Kenworth Motor Truck Company, combining the names of partners Kent and Worthington. Under the new name, the company relocated within Seattle to 506 Mercer Street and later to 1263 Mercer Street. In contrast to car manufacturers, Kenworth abstained from assembly lines, instead of constructing vehicles in individual days. The company also introduced a practice of building vehicles to customer specification that's actually still offered by Kenworth today, where you can build the truck how you want it and then send it into the company, where they build it how you want it at the factory. In 1926, Kenworth expanded the product line, introducing its first bus in 1927. It increased from 2 vehicles a week to 3 the same year. Manufacturing began in Canada to avoid import taxes. In 1929, E.K. Worthington retired, with Harry Kent becoming company president. Another change to accommodate increased demand, Kenworth relocated to a larger factory within Seattle. So they were still around Seattle at the same time that they started production of more trucks. The onset of the Great Depression hit the company hard, initially in good financial health, a sustainable decline in new vehicles, and a high rate of vehicle loan defaults forced the company to adapt. In 1932, Kenworth produced its first fire truck, adapted from its commercial truck. Kenworth fire engines were among the heaviest duty fire apparatuses at the time. In 1933, diesel engines became standard equipment, replacing gasoline engines entirely. At the time, diesel fuel cost 1/3 of the price of gasoline. In another design innovation, Kenworth introduced the first factory-produced sleeper cab. So they were the first company to legitimately put a bunk on a truck.
By the way,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but would you mind grabbing a load and let's go?
Well, I can't do that and read this.
Oh god. Continue.
As I was saying, see where I was at here. In 1935, the Motor Carrier Act was passed, introducing new size and weight regulations for the trucking industry in the United States. So, like I was saying with the length laws, I guess that started in 1935. Kenworth underwent an extensive redesign of its truck line to match weight regulations. The new trucks received aluminum pads and axle hubs. Four-spring suspension was introduced with torsion bar for rear axles. In 1936, Kenworth introduced the Model 516, its first cab over. The tandem axle 346 was introduced in 1937. In 1937, Harry Kent also died. Philip Johnson became the company president. The 1940s, this started war and I can't speak. So the 1940s, it started the company sales increased and war production also increased. So in 1939, Kenworth introduced its 500 series trucks, which would form the basis of its commercial truck line in the mid-1950s. By the end of the 1930s, demand for trucks began to recover, with Kenworth producing 226 trucks in 1940. Following the onset of World War II, Kenworth converted to war production, supplying the Army with 4-ton 6x6 M1 recovery vehicles. In 1943, the company became a supplier for Boeing, like the plane company, manufacturing components for the B-17 and the B-29 bombers. To maintain its government contracts, Kenworth commenced production of the M1 Wrecker at a temporary facility in Akron, Washington. In total, the company would supply the Army with 1,930 Wreckers by the end of World War II. To accommodate the extensive increase of production, Kenworth introduced an assembly line to produce the vehicle. In 1944, company president Phil Johnson died, leaving ownership split between his wife, Harry Kent's widow, and another company director. Uninterested in owning the company, all three initially planned to offer their ownership to company employees, but financing before the offer was never completed. In 1945, Pacific Car and Foundry Company purchased Kenworth as a wholly owned subsidiary. I don't even know what that word is. By the end of 1946, Kenworth relocated again in Seattle, following the purchase of a former Fisher Body factory by Pacific Car and Foundry. This would house all Kenworth manufacturing under a single roof. So I guess all Kenworth trucks were being made in the same factory at the end of 1946, into 1947. In 1948, Kenworth redesigned the cab of its cabover, later nicknamed the Bullnose 500 series.
Interesting.
So in the 1950s, it brought market expansion. By 1950, Kenworth had grown outside of the Pacific Northwest, marketing vehicles across the western half of the United States and across nearly 30 countries worldwide. In 1951, the company received an order for 1,700 Model 853s from Armco in the Middle East. The Model 801 was introduced as an earth-moving dump truck, adopting one of the first cab-to-side engine configurations. In 1955, Kenworth began to redesign its cab engine product line, launching the CSE, cab surrounding engine. In line with the Bullnose, the CSE shared its underpinnings with the 500 series trucks and did not have a tilting cab. So I guess it was like the, what was it, the 367?
67.
The football helmet.
372.
372, that's it. So I guess it was like this truck didn't have a tilting cab, obviously, but like with the front, how it tilts up in like two pieces. I wonder if that's how this one tilted up.
Maybe.
So in 1956, Pacific Car and Foundry revised its ownership of Kenworth, changing it from an independent subsidiary to a division. The same year, the 900 series was introduced with an all-new drop frame chassis, with the CSE cabover replaced by the K series cabover. Derived from the 900 series. In 1957, Kenworth ended bus production, selling the rights to its product line. In 1958, Kenworth became a sister company of Peterbilt, and the latter company was acquired by Pacific Car and Foundry in 1959. The company further expanded its sales base, establishing facilities in Mexico. So in 1958, Kenworth became almost one company with Peterbilt, and Pacific Car and Foundry is PACCAR. In the 60s, they started production on the W900 and K100. So for 1961 production, Kenworth underwent a substantial revision of its commercial truck line, debuting the W900 and the K900, later renamed the K100. The W and K model prefixes are derived from company founders Worthington and Kent. The W900 contributed the first complete redesign of Kenworth's provisional cab since 1939 with the standard tilting hood. Similar in appearance to the previous K500, the K900/K100 received a taller cab and the doors were living up. To meet increased demand for the new product lines, Kenworth opened a new assembly factory in Kansas City, Missouri in 1964. From 64 to 66, Kenworth nearly doubled its yearly truck sales. In 1968, the company established Kenworth Australia in place of importation and conversion. Right-hand drive truck were developed in Melbourne, Australia. In 1969, Kenworth hired Gary Ridgway, who worked in their plant department for the next 32 years. During which time he murdered 48 women as the Green River Killer.
Oh.
In the 70s, product line diversification. During the 70s, the company underwent further expansion, landing all new facility in Chillicothe, Ohio in 1974. The W900 and K100 underwent their most substantial revisions, becoming the W900A and K100C. Kenworth added two new product lines in 1972, adding the C500 6x6 severe service conventional and the Hustler low cab cabover. Developed jointly with Peterbilt and produced in Canada. The same year, parent company Pacific Car and Foundry adopted its current name, PACCAR. Coinciding with the 50th anniversary of the company, annual Kenworth sales exceeded 10,000 for the first time for 1973. For 1976, Kenworth launched a flagship customization series, the VIP, very important trucker, with a high level of interior features distinguished by its skylight windows, the skylight window. The Aragon sleeper cab was the first factory-produced sleeper cab with the stand-up headroom for both the W900 and K100. To commemorate the American Bicentennial, the VIP series was introduced in a limited edition series of 50, with each truck named after a state. I did not know that.
I did not know that as well.
So in the 80s and 90s, we're on to the 80s and 90s now. In 1982 and 1984, respectively, the W900 and K100 underwent their most substantial revisions, becoming the W900B and K100E. While visually distinguished by the adoption of rectangular headlamps, the updates were centered around upgrading fuel economy and road handling and reliability. In 1985, the Kenworth T600 was released by the company in contrast to the W900 and T600. In contrast to the W900, huh?
Sorry to interrupt you, but make sure to go into your game and like move the camera around, move your truck over something so it doesn't kick you for being AFK for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, new design. Oh, where was I at?
Okay. You said something about T600.
The T600 was designed with a setback front axle and sloped headline, which latter internally provided controversial. I don't even know what that word is. The combination. No, it's controversial. Wait. Okay, let me restart. The T600 was designed with a setback front axle and a sloped headline. While the latter intentionally proved controversial, the combination improved aerodynamics, fuel economy, and maneuverability. Intended as an expectation of the Kenworth model line, the success of the T600 would lead to the introduction of similar designs from multiple American truck manufacturers. In 1986, the T800 was introduced, adapting the sloped headline and setback front axle for a heavy-duty chassis. The shorter hood T400 was introduced in 1988 as a regional haul tractor. In 1987, Kenworth produced the Mid-Ranger Cabo, its first medium-duty truck. Shared with Peterbilt, the Brazilian-produced Mid-Ranger was derived from the MAN G90, a wide-body version of the Volkswagen LT. In 1992, the Mid-Ranger became the K300 as PACCAR shifted production to Saint-Cérès, Quebec. I butchered that name completely, but it's okay. In 1993, Kenworth opened its facility in Renton, Washington, as its third United States assembly plant. In 1994, the T300 was introduced as the first Kenworth medium-duty conventional truck, adopting the T600.
Wait, what year did you say the T300 was made?
1994, the T300 was introduced as the first Kenworth medium-duty conventional truck.
Damn, I didn't realize it was that old. Damn.
Adapting the T600 to the lower body GVWR Class 7 weight rating. The Aero Cab sleeper was introduced, integrating the Aerodon 2 sleeper cab and the driver's cab as a single unit. Okay, so I guess that was in 94 when they started production. See, before that, if you bought a flat glass Kenworth, like a T600, you could get the Aero 2 bunk, the studio sleeper, I guess they call it. But you could order that bunk on a flat glass, so just have the space in between it, at the top of the cab.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so in 1996, Kenworth introduced the T2000 as its next-generation aerodynamic convention. While not directly replacing the T600 and W900, the T2000 was a completely new design, the first from Kenworth since 1961, the first wide-body Kenworth conventional. The model shared its cab with Peterbilt, distinguished by its bumper and mounting headlights. The T2000 was discontinued in 2010. In 1998, parent company PACCAR purchased British truck manufacturer Leyland Trucks. 2 years after Dutch manufacturer DAF Trucks, the two had been merged as Leyland DAF from 1987 to 93. Within PACCAR, DAF would develop cab-over trucks for Kenworth and Peterbilt. So from 2000 to present 21st century. In 2000, Kenworth redesigned its medium-duty cab-over range with the K300 replacing the MAN Source designed with a DAF 45 Leyland Roadrunner cab. Following declining demand for the Class 8 cab-overs, the K100 was quietly phased out after 2002. Production in North America, Kenworth Australia continuing the production of the model line. In 2006, the company released the K500, the largest cab-over produced by the company. Developed primarily for off-highway applications, the K500 combined the chassis of the heavy-duty C500 and the cab-over cab of the DAF XF. All examples produced from 2006 to 2020 were sold for export. In 2008, Kenworth underwent a modernization of its model line. The T600 underwent a substantial revision to its aerodynamics, becoming the T660. The medium-duty T300 was replaced by the Class 5 to 7, the T170, T270, and T370 model. The low-cab cab-over made its return based on the DAF LF, intentionally marketed as the K260 and the K360. The model line was renamed the K270 and the K370 for 2013. The T660 would be discontinued in 2017. For 2011 production, the T700 replaced the T2000, adapting a larger grille and fender-mounted headlight. The 2013 production, the T680 was introduced as the third-generation aerodynamic Kenworth convention, serving as a single replacement for the narrow-body T660 and the wide-body T700. The T700 was discontinued in 2014, and the T660 was discontinued in 2017. 32 years after the introduction of the T600. Sharing the same cab as the T680, the T880 was introduced as the first wide-body Kenworth for flotational applications, alongside the W900S and the T800 model. In 2018, the W990 was introduced as the flagship conventional of the Kenworth model line. Sharing the wide-body cab of the T680 and T880, the W990 is the longest-lived conventional ever produced by Kenworth. As of current production, the W900 remains part of the Kenworth model family line. That does not exist anymore. The W900 is getting discontinued by the end of this year. The 2021 production, Kenworth introduced 3 model lines of electric vehicles, with the K270E, the K370E, and the T680E powered by battery electric powertrains. In 2021, Kenworth launched the T680 FCEV with a 10-vehicle demonstration fleet in California. The T680 FCEV is powered with a Toyota hydrogen fuel cell, has 6 hydrogen tanks, and a driving range of at a full load weight of 80,000 pounds. In 2022, Kenworth announced the new T680. The T680 Next Gen was redesigned with a future in mind. The new Next Gen model has a skinner but taller grille than the original T680. It has a completely all-new front bumper of the 579 Next Gen. It has an all-new interior and steering. Now, there I keep going.
No.